Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail for this, but I'm gonna propose that we get rid of all of our national holidays. I'm recording this in early November, and we got Veterans Day coming up, and obviously Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, and a bunch of other holidays that we now have, right? We added Juneteenth a few years ago. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand what Juneteenth stands for. I want to get rid of the fact that we celebrate it on a certain day. I don't want to get rid of the concept of it. Let's get that straight out of the way. I like the concept of giving thanks. I just don't want it to be forced upon us that we have to take a day off for that. And I'll talk about why in this video. When I was in fifth grade, I made a realization that may sound obvious once I say it, but I thought it's worth mentioning. We were getting ready for a Thanksgiving or some other holiday. I can't remember exactly which day. And it came. But then it came, and I realized that the whole concept of having a holiday or any day off is completely neutralized by the fact that everybody took the day off. What do I mean by that? Well, I was living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with my parents, and obviously my parents also had the day off, right? And also, none of the favorite restaurants I liked going to were the same, right? Either they were closed for Thanksgiving or they were incredibly busy. Same with any other thing that I might want to do, right? I had a favorite theme park, Kennywood Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'll let you Google that if you're not from Pittsburgh. And they were not open, right? And well, it's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I don't think it would. The climate is really good during the Thanksgiving week anyway, and you get the idea, right? Uh, or the people that I might wanted to see were busy with other things, right? And so I quickly realized that the concept of a holiday is completely neutralized by the fact that everybody takes the day off. Airfare is going to be more expensive if you wanted to travel somewhere. My grandparents live in Taiwan, right? Flights to Taiwan are definitely way more expensive during those big holiday seasons, right? And so, do you know what my favorite holiday was? When there was some kind of teacher conference, and we over in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we had what are called Act 80 days. The teachers would be in a conference for that one day, and I would get the day off school, and my parents would still be working, and I would have that day to myself. And when I got to be a little bit older and I could walk into the part of town that we were living in, those were some of my favorite holidays, right? No parents, my favorite fast food place would be open, a bunch of other stuff would be open, and just it gave me the idea that we ought to be able to choose what holidays we take, right? Now, there's another thing that I want to mention. A lot of times, a holiday comes and maybe it's not synchronized to when you want to take the day off. Let me give you an example. I was studying for the SAT exams, and a holiday would come, right? A Thanksgiving, a Labor Day, or whatever. But the momentum of my studying has no signs of letting down. Well, I got two choices there, right? I could either miss the holiday and continue to study, or take the holiday and lose that momentum. There's no guarantee that that momentum will still be there on the Tuesday after the holiday, right? It just feels like a waste, right? I can choose when I want to take the day off a lot better than the gods of holidays, right? And it just sucks, right? The other problem is that just like anybody else, I love a long weekend. What I don't necessarily need is the 4 day week that follows a long weekend, right? I feel like I could still work 5 days after that long weekend. It feels like a waste. Depending on what you do for a living, sometimes the momentum of that work is important, right? So, what would I do if I had it my way? If I were king of the world, how would I structure our holidays? Well, let's put it this way: most of us work 5 days a week for, let's say, 49 weeks, right? Because we got holidays and most people take a vacation as well. 5 times 49 is 245. What I would do, what's 365 minus 240? 120. What I would do is that I would allow people to take any 120 days off during the year, whenever they want, right? It doesn't have to be on designated weekends and holidays and whatever. Now, would that be chaos? No, I think that would be the best of all worlds because not everybody would take the same days off, right? So, for example, I think in some Middle Eastern cultures, the weekend is actually a Wednesday and Thursday. I can't remember which country that was, but I was working with a student who had a different schedule when he went back home to his family, if I remember correctly. And then obviously people celebrate different holidays throughout the year and all that. I actually think things would flow a whole lot better. When I got a lot of momentum to work, I could work through the weekends. I could save up those weekends to use later, right? And then I could take a trip. Uh, some people prefer to work those really long hours, right? I know some people in the medical industry, they work 14-hour days so that they can have 4 days. That wouldn't work so well for me, actually. What might work well for me is to work 8-hour days, but work them 7, 8, 9 days in a row so I can save up those weekends. What I might do is consolidate weeks together, right? So, for example, work 10 days and then take a 4-day break, right? I think that would be the best of both worlds because I would have a lot of momentum during the work, and then in 4 days I could actually travel somewhere, right? But more importantly, I'll actually be able to do something when I travel, right? It won't be, um, and as an adult, this really hits hard because we don't have a whole lot of days off in the first place, and then to waste them on holidays where you can't really do anything, where the theme parks are going to be really busy, lines are going to be really long, airfare is going to be more expensive, right? The few precious days that we get off are marked by that. It just really hurts, right? When I'm perfectly willing to go to work on those days, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.